So we know what that means. It means that we sit here mumbling for
40 seconds and then
until
we go live.
somebody
Yeah.
kicks in. Yeah. So I believe we should be on. Fantastic. I hope everyone out there is awesome. How are you two?
I am brilliant, mate. How are you?
I'm okay.
Rocking, baby.
Doing all right, Joe?
Yeah.
I'm very happy, actually. I've got to play a 62 SG. That's a very, very nice guitar.
It's a lovely guitar.
Yeah.
It's a lovely guitar.
Just whack a Floyd Rose on it. It'll be perfect.
Set of EMGs.
Man.
We are there.
We're there. Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, everyone. Hope you are exceptional. Hope you've all had a great week thus far. It's nice doing this on a Wednesday because it's sort of...
Breaks it up.
Yeah.
Breaks it up.
It's very good. Massive thank you to BV, who's moderating for us today. Superstar. Thank you,
He's
bud.
the best.
Big
You're
up,
the best,
BV.
dude.
I like the T-shirts you wear indeed.
I'm certified something, all right?
Yep.
Yes. There we go. So, some interesting things happening in the world of pedals at the moment. We're going to talk a little bit about power supplies and just shoot the breeze. If you do have any questions, please let us know and we will get to them. Right. Well, first off the press this week.
First off the press.
First off the
week.
press. And I
hitting
didn't
it.
even mean it. It's just come so naturally to me now. We have the Wong press.
Yes, the Wong press. So the Wong press is a collab with Corey Wong and Hotone. That it's a sort of improved, upgraded version of their Soul Press expression, volume, and wah. But it's really cool. So effectively, it doubles up as a volume, and then when you click the wah on, it turns into a wah, and it also can output expression. It's got like a top and a bottom band that you can dial in and get that Corey Wong signature wah thing to it. What I also really like.
Sorry, is that when
Like-
is it like a Q thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for the top and the bottom.
Set two
Okay.
frequencies.
Yeah.
Right.
What I also think is really cool is it's got an indicator light on the side that changes colour when you're using it as a volume or a wah.
That's
and in
handy.
particular, we've all left our wah clicked on. We're like, my guitar sounds terrible, and it's because you've left it clicked on. We've all done that, haven't we?
Oh man.
Haven't we?
Yes, we
Yeah.
really have.
I'll probably do it once a week, realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also an expression out as well. But it's really cool. It seems to be, really nicely thought out. It's like a nice footprint, and
Looks quite small.
yeah, and
Yeah, they are really small, aren't they?
yeah, they look. I think they're similar sizes to those Boss EV30 expressions.
Okay.
Similar sort of energy to that.
Right.
But yeah, in the video for it, it's great. It's a really funny little video. But he says like he's flown with it in like a suitcase, not even in like pellies and pedal boards and stuff, to make sure it's durable enough for the road.
Right.
So that's really cool, and it's and his signature sort of blue and white colorway thing that he's got going on.
Very
It
nice.
seems a really cool pedal.
Very nice. Okay.
Mhm.
Well done, Corey. Well done. What I was so glad about that video is I now finally know how to pronounce Hotone.
Yeah, I might have got it
I
wrong.
was going
Yeah.
Hotone.
Yeah, didn't really know. Thank you, Corey. But that
You met
well
Corey
done.
before? Have you?
No, we're trying to get him on TPS at some point. If he ever comes over here, it'd be really great because
He's the man.
I'm fascinated. Obviously, everyone, the funk stuff that he does is amazing.
Yeah.
Fearless Flyers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
far out, just extraordinary. But also his big band arrangements and stuff on his recordings. He's serious
just
serious
ridiculous
guitar
technique.
player.
That weird
Yeah.
How
percussive technique
Yeah.
is amazing.
so wonderful.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
player.
I'm really, really pleased for him. That's really, really fab. Okay, what else do we have in the pedal world? This is makes you happy. Joe's the bass player. He's the
bass.
bass
Oh,
player.
thanks. There's a
He's the bass player. in
finally
the group.
Yeah.
the Fuzz War has been modified slightly to work for bass players. So it's the bass war. So it's literally,
Tell us about the Fuzz War.
the Fuzz War is just ungodly.
Yeah,
in
it's a
itself.
mainstay on my board.
It just sounds like the end of the world.
Does
It's
Mike
a-
Van Aert have it on his board?
No,
No,
one didn't
to be
actually
fair,
make the shot.
But it's a modified muff.
yeah,
Basically.
Oh, okay.
So that's the heart of it. Is a muff that's been modified, tinkered with,
Right.
and they've added a mix control to it, so you can dial back in some of your super low end. Because although the Fuzzwall is great, it does wipe out a little bit of the low end on a bass. So you need either to modify the circuit completely, or you need like a dry blend for it to work for bass. Otherwise,
Okay.
you
Is there a
lose
dry
all the-
blend on this one?
Yeah, you lose all the flub. So it's got a mix control on it. That's what they've added to make it
Nice.
the bass wall,
Very nice.
which is cool. So it's very like a very simple addition, but I think it will be a massive deal for bass players, because anyone that's played with the Fuzzwall knows that it's
they are
literally
unreal.
apocalyptic.
Yeah,
it's great.
they're unreal.
Who was the first guys that you can think of that were using that sort of a sound? Can you bring your mic a little bit closer? I want to hear your dulcet tones.
Dulcet tones.
Who was the first person to do that? I mean,
First
a
band.
lot of Death by Audio is obviously around A Place to Bury Strangers, which is
Ollie's band.
Ollie's
isn't it?
band. But a lot of the kind of modern shoegaze stuff will use something like a Fuzzwall or some kind of modified muff with a reverb before it,
Yeah.
to get that sort of blown out apocalyptic sound.
Right.
My brain has stopped working. I cannot think of a single person right now who's using a Fuzzwall.
Yeah, no, but just not necessarily the fuzz war, but there's that
Blown out.
that
muff
blown
thing.
out big muff sound. So you know,
Like
when I went
Smashing
and saw Mike Van Aert play with Empire State
ESB.
Bastard, and there was obviously that his guitar sound in that is otherworldly.
I tell you what, I saw them this year at 2000 Trees, and the next day I was guitar teching for a band that were playing their ESB fest, and I was catching up with Mike in their front of house, and their front of house said that they didn't have any of Mike's guitar through the PA at Trees because he was so loud, and it was still ungodly loud. You could hear everything, but they didn't have any of him through the PA because he was that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
was solely coming out of his cabs was that sound.
Absolutely soul crushing.
10.
Yeah, it's funny because in Biffy, where he uses his Van Aert amplifier,
Yeah.
but he has to have it turned down so low, you know, and it's loud. I mean,
Yeah.
Biffy are a loud band,
Yeah.
but Empire, far out.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
They're something else. Because I saw them at not 2000 Trees, the other one,
Arctangent.
Arctangent, and so what was interesting is that a load of other bands had, not to Mike's level, but there are flavors of that blown
Yeah.
out big muff thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of new to me. I'm old, and I like AC30s and old guitars, and hearing that, but I'm hearing it more and more.
Yeah, it's kind of metal kind of diverges in that sense. Like it comes from, I think, more of a hardcore and a doom metal place than say more technical metal. It's a bit more punk than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's just about like the sort of pummeling guitar as opposed to technicality.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
it's
I
not
like
about
that.
string definition. It's not about it cleaning up when you roll the volume back. It's about destroying things.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Tom Poynton says, was sad to sell my Fuzzwall recently, but their footprint is such a pain on a pedalboard.
That is a
I
problem.
couldn't get it to fit anywhere.
That is currently off of my board for that reason because
Really?
I've had a rejig, and I'm sure it will come back on. But I do agree it is massive.
I think there's something about large pedals. Now,
Well,
yeah.
I watched an interview of Oliver recently where he says that they make their pedals massive for intentionally so that it's easier to manipulate things on the fly
On the-
with your feet.
Yeah, okay.
I get
Oh,
that.
that's interesting.
I get that.
Yeah. I just like, I remember having, you take a CE1, for example, you open that up and it's all amp components,
Yeah.
and also components in the 70s, they were big and there's
Yeah.
no surface mount and all that stuff. But, there's something whether it's tracking with that sort of stuff, especially high gain things, is very important.
Yeah.
And the more space that you've got on a board,
Yeah, of
you
course,
know,
for noise.
it's really interesting. I think that's going to be the thing.
I did actually open mine up to have a look and see if I could rehouse it in a smaller enclosure, but
Yeah,
no
no.
dice.
Just want to, James Crawford's on. Pete Morris rocks. Hi guys. Paul Matilovich, g'day mate. James Crawford says things are sounding great. Thank you, James. That's wonderful.
Amazing.
Swizz872 says hi from Sydney, fellas. Wonderful.
Amazing.
Cheers,
Yo.
mate.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Is that
Reeves Electro Guitar Pedals. G'day, mate. Hope you're
amazing.
right?
awesome.
Yes, very like Reeves stuff.
yes.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yes, this is Cornish pedals are big for a reason. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think there is something like psychological about it as well. If you've got this big, it's like the difference between a tiny amp and a massive amp. Even if they were exactly the same, there's something about it where it feels bigger because it is bigger.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, there's like heft to it.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And if you look at it and in your mind it is bigger, it's a thing. You know, we've got a Death by Audio, not Death by Audio. It's a Emanating Fist Electronics.
Yeah.
Their big muff
Yeah.
thing. Oh man, but it's massive.
Yeah.
But you plug it in, it's just like
Is that the
Instant-
Doom Priest? Is that
the
what it's
Doom
called?
Yeah,
Priest.
that's it, right.
and it's just instant. It's
Yeah.
just great. Just awesome. Okay, so what else do we have? Oh, the Phantom Limb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Phantom Limb.
So it's just a really interesting ambient / glitch pedal. I feel like there's been a lot of them released in the last few years, but I just think it's got some really interesting features to it in that you can use it as a delay or a looper. There's a switchable filter, low pass, band pass or high pass, that affects the delay or the loop line, so you can sort of carve out a space for it sonically.
Oh, interesting.
There's a
Who makes it?
Discomfort Designs.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what they're
it. Great name, right?
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Isn't that killer?
incredible.
Brilliant.
And yeah, so it's got like a chance dial on it, which changes the length of the loop at random. I think. Don't quote me on that. As well as a switch that allows you to.
It doesn't just play the intro to ABBA. Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. Now that would be a great
Okay,
pedal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Putting that on the to-do list for GigRig.
Lizzie's up for that one.
Oh, huge ABBA fan.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you've got a switch where you can get the loop to jump up by an octave or 2 octaves, and then you can loop stuff and chant it back down. And the price point on it is great, to be fair. I think it was like £230.
Oh, wow, that's really
great.
good.
Really, for all of that functionality of a delay, a
Yeah.
looper, some filter, some kind of weird glitchiness. It's a great vibe.
Yeah. Eric Warrington says, what a killer name for a pedal. It is.
It is really
It's
cool.
Yeah,
name.
it
really
is, yeah.
good. There was high fives going around the office that day when they came up with that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So yeah, it's just a very cool
Yeah, it
ambient
is really
glitchy
cool.
pedal.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Great. Jacques Butler says, "G'day from Swindonia." Can only apologise, mate. Eric Warrington says, "Good morning from the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York, where they make
Wow.
the Adirondack. The wood is grown for the Adirondack tops for the really high end guitars."
Oh,
Oh,
right,
sure.
of course. Yeah. Wow.
I had a choice when I had my guitar made from Johnny Kincaid, and he had some Adirondack.
Say it
Now.
quickly 3 times.
Yes, but it's so expensive. It was, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know. And he says, my guitar sounds astonishing, but to have really good
Yeah.
that wood is, yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, crazy.
Beautiful. Okay. Simon V Radio DJ says, hello Dan and GigRig folks too. G'day mate.
Yep.
Hope you're awesome. Yes, Eric Warrington says best spruce tops ever. They are noted as being the best spruce tops that you can get.
Sure.
And wood is another really interesting topic that we can get onto at some point. Tone wood stuff.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
really interesting.
It is
how much of
really,
a difference
really
it makes.
interesting.
And the difference between a bolt-on and a through neck as well, in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Brilliant. Okay. Bit Beach.
Oh yeah. This thing is insane.
Holy Island, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Holy Island have done a collab with the band Spitting Horse.
Sugar horse.
Sugar Horse. And it's just insane. So it's basically it's a riff on like an octave up, then into a Dodd death metal clone, effectively, and it's literally just got a switch on it to change sort of EQ bands. But the demo,
one switch is just gross.
yeah,
The other switch is just
gross.
so offensive.
And then gross.
It is literally so offensive in the best kind of way.
Yeah.
But what I really like is that it's this super, super gnarly sounding pedal, and like the demo that they've done, like the dude is using a Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
So it's quite a stripped back guitar. It's not like you pummeling EMGs into that or whatever.
Right.
But it's already like
It sounds like the end of the
ungodly.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be great for all those
And I love
indie.
I love the fact that it's just a foot switch and a toggle switch.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's all I do.
And there's a volume control inside on a trim pot if you need it.
If you're being silly.
Right.
But otherwise, I read the description and it said that they've tuned it so it's as loud as it'll go without oscillating.
Yeah.
But they've left room on the trim pot so you can do that if you want.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
unreal.
it's just gross.
I think it looks really cool. I
Excellent.
think that came out today.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Yeah, it's a late entry.
It's
this
interesting
week.
those pedals that don't have anything. Did you see the surgery? By
Gone Fishing.
Gone Fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Churd.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, for Surge from Kasabian, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just a 1 foot switch. The red cross on top. There are trim pots in the back.
Right.
There's like a distortion and reverb
Yeah.
thing, and again it's a big pedal, engineered. It's just beautifully made. But you step on that, it's like the world is coming to an end.
Yeah,
It's really
amazing.
cool. But it has the reverb stuff in it as
yeah.
well. It's a really
Yeah.
cool.
I just
sounding
love
thing.
that. This is what I do. I know there's been like a few Jack White iterations, isn't there? Where
Yeah.
it's like the Bumble Buzz and stuff. It's like, this is what the pedal sounds like. I don't need it. I have any
Yeah,
knobs on
yeah.
it. This is just what I do.
And a
Discomfort Designs is on. It says, "Ahoy, friendos! Hello, mate.
Yo.
whole, amazing.
Hope you're
Hey,
great."
bro.
Sean Ellis has got a question. With the Remotus Loopy 2, are you meant to use TRS or mono jacks, or does it not matter?
For control or for audio?
Yes, good question. So, Sean, if you're using, if you just want 2 loops and you want to use mono jacks for the send and returns, perfect. If you want to control the Remotus Loopy 2, you can do it with MIDI. I shouldn't say obviously because it's not obvious at all. You can do it with MIDI, or you can do it with a TRS jack, and it's just like standard open, closed. It opens the loops and closes the loops. So, but if you use TRS audio cables, then it's a stereo loop, and TRS and the output, stereo output,
Yeah, baby.
and stereo input. Hope that helps. Okay. What else we got? I think that was it. Was that it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good week.
Yeah,
It's a great week.
Good couple of things have come out.
Weird things, gross things, super gross things.
And a what?
And a what?
Very good. Paul Matulovic says, "I love my Bumble Buzz,
Yeah.
but always need an underdriver after the output is so hot."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a thing, right? I remember when we first, there was a pedal that we had in, and it sounded amazing, but there was no master volume on it. So to make it work, we literally had to put a volume pedal after it, turn it down. But I guess that's a thing.
Yeah,
some
it's
people
just
do.
it's just a choice, isn't it? Like same with the
It's a big choice not to have a master volume on a pedal, though.
yeah. Yeah, I guess. But I guess it's sort of got a punk mentality where it's like this is what it does.
Well, it changes the gain structure.
Yeah.
It will change the sound of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like, no, get rid of that. I just want the hottest thing possible into
Yeah.
my amp. Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
get that. I get that. I can respect that. I can respect that.
Dan's going
Excellent.
to be releasing Doom albums by the end of the year, I'm
Oh,
sure.
I'm so here for it. I mean, he's bought an SG. That's
To
the
be
first
fair,
step, isn't it? of
yeah.
Doom banding.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's an SG. Well, no, thank
It's
you
a
very
Les-
much. It's a
Les Paul, not an SG.
Ew. Hello, Sailor Effects is on. G'day, mate. Hope you're
Hey, man.
amazing. He
Yo.
says, gross is good.
Gross
is
is
so
good.
good. The grosser the better.
Yeah, lovely. He made us a train wreck clone
Oh,
that
amazing.
we had on the show this
Oh,
week.
okay,
Called the
wicked.
Shipwreck.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Brilliant.
And,
Beautiful.
Man, it's so it's Joe from Hello Sailor. And
Hello, Sailor.
What an amplifier. So we'd had it. It looked really beautiful, but we just, Nick and I were running around like headless chickens most of the time and hadn't had an opportunity to plug it in. And we thought we're going to get 8 amps that we don't use a lot. And we plugged it in and it was like, oh man, it was just caved in the most beautiful way. So Joe, legend, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Cool. Paul Matulovic says, was it one of the color drivers? No, it wasn't. But yes, the color driver did that. Same thing, that the output on it was so hot. The one I eventually went with was the one from TrueFi that had a master volume on the side.
Yeah.
But those color drivers were just, the
Got one
output
literally
was
over there on a rig build.
absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
But the TrueFi ones are really brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a few questions coming in, so we'll get onto these before we start talking about
Let's go.
some power stuff. Simon V Radio DJ says, I have a question. I have a big board.
Show off.
Made it out of a large IKEA shelf. That's great. With a mix
Cool.
of 15 Boss and Fender pedals, including most of the Boss D200 series
Cool.
and an SY300 synth.
Amazing.
What solutions do you suggest? Solutions to what?
Yeah, full
Just
stop.
sounds like you've got life sorted.
Yeah.
It sounds like everything's coming up. Simon V Radio DJ. Welcome to Funtown Population U.
I can't think about, there's a side note, I can't think about those synth pedals without thinking about the time that you got one in
Yeah.
and you were playing the Final Countdown
Yeah.
by Europe with like a scat.
Scat sound. It was so good.
I've got the video of that somewhere.
One of the greatest
yeah,
moments.
I think about that often.
Yeah.
I might leak that online one day.
You couldn't get through like a whole repetition without just crumbling.
No.
'Cause it was so funny.
Yeah, I will release that on the
So
world
good.
one day.
So
I've
good.
had that in the locker, I reckon, for about 8 years, realistically.
So, Simon, what are the problems that you've got? So it depends. Just off the top of my head, if you've got 15 Boss pedals in a line, you've got 15 buffers that are always on.
Yep.
In and out buffers as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. So it might be that, how's this for an idea? Part of the thing that we do is switching systems. That's a large part of what we do. And they sort those problems out. But it might be that you can take your 15 pedals and sort them into groups and have a whole, an overdrive section in a bypass loop. So that,
Sure.
if you're not using any overdrives, you can just bypass a lot of them. There are things like that you can do to get rid of the buffers. If what you want to be able to do is hit one foot switch and turn on combinations and things, then you're looking at a programmable switcher, something like a G3, that will sort you out. With the 200 series, now Boss do the mini jack MIDI, which is on the 200 series. I hope and pray that they've sorted out tap tempo.
We
via
can only
MIDI.
hope. We can only hope.
You haven't heard any news on
I
that front?
haven't seen anything,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Apart from that, the Boss MIDI stuff is, pretty good. You'd hope it to be pretty good. So it might be that you could just get a MIDI controller and run some of those, the D200 series separately.
Yeah. But I think a lot of this is so contextual that the best thing to do is send us an email to support.TheGigRig.com. We'll look through the whole setup and come up with a solution that works for your particular setup. Because we get asked this quite a lot. People ask us the perfect setup, but give us no context.
Yeah, they said, I want the best, and you're like, best is totally subjective to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you send that in with as much detail, tell us what you're after, what your dream situation with that rig would be, and then we'll get you sorted out. This is nice. Gav Thorpe says, no question, just a thanks to Jake for continued patience as we move towards a very complicated G3S setup.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Yeah,
up to
man.
tech question number 763.
Gav plays in an awesome band called Gallops.
Oh, yeah.
They are Arctangent alumni.
Oh,
Yeah.
wicked.
They're really, really, really cool. And I feel like he and I chat every day, and he's like, I need to get a G3 down. I need to get a G3. And he messaged me about 2 days ago, like, what's the waiting list on a G3? So he's getting ever so closer, but
Oh, brilliant.
no worries, dude.
Scott Gaylor says, I like big boards and I cannot lie.
Nice.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's another question for another day, I think, about big boards. Because you guys are playing multiple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I was doing 4 or 5 nights a week, and I did that for
A long time.
10 years, and I was still doing that when you guys started working for
Yeah.
us. I think the gigs that I was doing everything from walkabouts and big stages at walkabouts.
Mhm.
We were a 3-piece band, so I was allowed to have a decent sized pedal board. But then going to do wedding gigs, and Uncle Bevan walks past and goes, can you launch a spaceship with that thing?
I've heard that so many times.
It's right. And I've had someone that many people will know who drives this massive flashy car, and made him a very moderate pedal board. This is no, it's too ostentatious for me.
Sure.
So there is a thing that some people don't want.
Yeah.
Not even the functionality. They don't want to be seen with a big pedal board.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I've got my pedal board so dialed in now. It's like I couldn't imagine not having all that functionality.
Yeah.
Compromising anywhere is a compromise that I'm not willing to make.
Yeah, sure.
Getting the auto machines. So I've got the auto machines and the back to the Strymon,
Cool.
right?
Cool.
Those two delays working together, that dialed into the Matchless and the Princeton,
Yeah.
and it's taken so long to get there. So I've got no problem using a big board. But again, you guys play in a 5-piece,
Yeah.
and there's lots of singers, lots of things happening on stage, keyboards. So the big pedal board, you both managed to shrink things down.
Well, I mean, for a long time I was using a massive board, and I actually found that creatively having too many options was just option paralysis for me. And I actually found that having a smaller board meant that I would be more creative with less.
Right.
We have this conversation quite a lot with guys coming in with boards, because it all depends on what works for you creatively. If all of those options gives you more creativity, then go for your life. But if all of those options causes you to make no decision, is what often I would do, and then not use any of it, you're carrying around a very expensive box with no purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that a lot of us don't think about is
Sure.
that creative process.
But again, as you say, it's completely contextual.
Yeah.
So, go and see Simon McBride with Deep Purple and the rigs that we made for him.
Yeah.
They're big rigs, but he needs every single pedal that's on there. And you see those sounds and you hear them on their own. It's like, really? You hear them in context with Deep Purple. It's like, oh man,
Yeah, it makes
you
sense.
are an
Totally makes
absolute behemoth.
Yeah, and also there's never going to be any struggle for stage space.
That's right.
Like I
And-
remember designing a rig with Lee Harris, who plays with Nick Mason.
Yeah.
and we'd mapped this thing out, and I remember being like, this is big, like, you know, this, and was giving him sort of the guidelines with you know, baggage weights and sizes and stuff, and he just went, Nick Mason has a private plane. And I went, you know what, mate, yep, fair enough. That, and I'll never be carrying it.
That's,
I thought,
yeah,
fair play, dude.
That saucer full of secrets.
Yeah.
And I said, I went and saw them, and man alive, it was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, cool. We can talk about that for hours, and probably will.
Agreed.
Pedals. We love pedals.
Yeah. Marcus from Joe from Hello Sailor says, I don't even play live, and I have a ridiculous pedal board. You know what is interesting? Awesome. That is, for a lot of people, it's the same thing.
Yeah, man.
That they just want to have at home, especially at home, you're messing around. They have a bunch of fun.
Useful options.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah.
And also because Joe makes his own pedals.
Yeah.
And he just keeps making it till it's filled up a certain amount.
Yeah,
of space.
yeah, right. Sure. That's the design something
so
specifically this big today or something.
Joe's a very generous chap, and he's come to Experience Day a couple of times.
Oh, cool.
He's made everyone at Experience Day a pedal, and
Has he actually?
handed them out as gifts.
That's insane.
And the proper Hello Sailor.
Joe, if you're looking for new friends,
hello.
The crazy thing was the pedals are worth more than the cost of the tickets for the day. You know,
oh,
that's
what a
insane.
legend! That's so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah, very, very beautiful guy.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, I'm
Don't know
also
what camera I've got
Joe.
looking, but hello, Joe.
I'm also called Joe.
Oh boy. Okay. Someone has said, Dog Ate My Homework says, I decided to use a floor modeler and leave my strummers at home.
Yeah.
And so you guys use modelers and pedals, just like hybrid rigs.
Yeah.
Because that is appropriate for what you're doing.
Yeah, man. Again, the wedding band in particular, it's about being audibly as controllable as possible, because you'll get a decibel limiter. Like, case in point, the wedding we're playing on Saturday, we've just found out there's a decibel limiter of 90 dB.
That's ridiculous.
With we have a live drummer.
So much fun.
Yeah,
As a bass player.
Like, my lawnmower has a sticker on it that says it's 96 dB. So we have to be 6 dB lower than my lawnmower.
Can I tell you my limiter story?
Go on.
So, in Australia, we had the traffic light system.
Yes.
Right? Do you get it here?
Yeah.
So you're playing, and it's all good green. If you gets a bit louder, it goes yellow, and then if it gets really loud, it hits red.
Yeah.
And
like
it can go
10
red for
seconds.
like even 4 or 5 seconds before the power cuts
Done.
out.
Yeah.
Right? And we did this venue all the time in Sydney. It's actually in Manly. And when the sound guy would walk off, I had a can of hairspray and I sprayed the mic.
Nice.
Right?
Nice. Yeah,
That's brilliant.
And so many times he come back and go, man, you guys are loud tonight. I'm like, wait, look, we're fine. We're
Quite
fine.
clearly an
Because the
amber.
hairspray sort of dissolves in 24 hours.
Yeah, that's really
That's
clever.
great.
It was naughty, but we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And everyone had fun. No one complained. I think arguably the limits might have been a bit higher in Australia, but 90 dB is ridiculous.
That's because in particular it's wedding venues, and they it's not like actual
venue.
You take this man.
Exactly.
Right.
But
Exactly.
like last year we had one, and we were playing Mr. Brightside, and it seems to be at least a thing in like the UK that everybody knows everyone and has to belt it as loud as they can.
We say that, but we did play a wedding a few weeks ago, or however long it was ago, with the request of Creeping Death by Metallica in the set at the wedding.
Did you do it?
Yeah, we
Oh,
played
my
the intro of Creeping Death, because they're like little baby, like maybe
18 months.
2-year-old baby loved Creeping Death, which is ridiculous. But we were playing Mr. Brightside at this wedding, and people singing along tripped the limiter. But luckily, because everybody has it ingrained on them as it was rebooting and stuff, everyone just carried on singing.
So we played up to the first chorus.
Yeah.
They sang the rest of the song, note perfect, including the bridge where there's no vocals,
Yep.
and finished the song before we came back.
Yeah.
Just all a cappella. The whole crowd knew every line.
That's
Wild.
awesome.
But literally the crowd
It
singing
was so weird.
tripped the limiter.
It was so weird.
I did a wedding, and I don't know if the bride and groom didn't have any friends, or they just wanted it to be a thing for themselves. But they'd seen us play,
Right.
and they said, "We want you guys to play at our wedding. It's going to be weird."
Okay.
Good
And it was a
start.
bride and groom. They had some family next door, right?
Okay.
Pretty much just the bride and groom, and a couple of other people walked in when we were playing. The first song they asked us to play was Tenacious D.
Okay.
That was their like
Tribute.
tribute. It was
Yeah.
their wedding dance song.
Yeah, yeah.
Unreal.
And they just danced the whole night.
And everyone else is.
Everyone else, like the old aunties and stuff, were just in there and going, "Oh, it's a little bit loud for us." And
That's
it was
incredible.
Yeah, it was.
That's weird.
It was kind of weird, but kind of really sweet too.
Yeah.
But okay, sorry,
Yeah.
we're getting
Yeah, tangent,
We're-
tangent,
yeah.
tangent.
Right. Okay. Lizzie, you can say hi.
Hi.
I'll just let you keep an eye on some questions. I just want to go through a couple of things. We're talking about power
Power.
and Stream Dad says hello from Noonan, the Netherlands. By the way, happy owner of a G3 and some pedals. Good on you, mate.
Oh,
Thank
cool,
you.
mate.
Yo.
So, one of the things as a company that we recognized really early on, like 20 years ago, was the importance of power supply. So when we were designing the first Pro 14, which is this big thing down here, I can't even.
Do you want me to?
I've mentioned it now. Hang on.
Oh, there goes his back.
That was really loud. Sorry.
My
this is
head.
right.
Ow.
So this is the first version was white, which we also have down there, which is because I was a Star Wars fan and I wanted to look like something that would
My God.
live on a ship on a
Yeah,
Star
yeah,
Wars film.
yeah.
Unreal.
But but this is the Paul Stacey says, why is it white? It needs to be black. So we made it
Yeah,
black.
fair enough.
But when we were designing this, getting the research together for this, I'm looking for power supplies, and it was like, oh my word, what a difference good power supplies make. And then, so did the generator and all that sort of stuff. Oh, I'll tell you what,
Oh,
that's why my pedalboard was so heavy.
Yeah.
they are built like.
They are so solid. So the power supply is probably the most boring / most important thing
Yeah.
to
Totally.
get right on your
Yep.
pedalboard. And I promise you, anyone watching this that's sort of umming and ahhing about trying to cut corners, and it's just never worth it.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. You don't put skateboard wheels on a Ferrari. If you're going to spend all that money on
Maybe
pedals,
funny.
it'd be really funny, but it's not going to go anywhere, is it? It would be so funny. So why would you skimp out at the last minute?
Yeah, completely. So what we did early on is that, so Lizzie, there's the image of the modular supply. So if you pop that up for a second, I think it's the last one.
One moment, caller.
Come on,
Yeah,
image,
with that.
please. Okay, so when we first did our supply, we had the original modular supply, which has been around for. It wasn't in the first year, but
A while.
18, 19 years we've
Wow.
been doing this.
It's no longer a
and-
teenager. It's an adult.
No,
Of drinking age.
yeah. Liv had a birthday this week. She's
Yeah.
20 now, my daughter.
Yeah, you have a 20-year-old.
I know, stop it. So what we did here was we had our supply, the generator, which is a super clean 9-volt supply. And then from the generator, we would make modules. So one of the modules would be an isolator that would deliver power to like 4 lower current things. Back then, we didn't. I said back then. It is like 20 years ago, so it is back then. God, I'm so old. But we didn't. There wasn't the huge amount of high current pedals
Yeah.
that we have today.
Of course.
Even the digital things didn't draw current like they
No.
do now. And if they did, you couldn't power them with DC.
Yeah.
The whammies were AC.
Yep.
Anyway. so what we did was the things that required different voltages. So, pedals like, this is the Diamond Memory Lane 2, and I just lifted up just to show you that in the house we have a Diamond Memory Lane 2 because it's so beautiful.
Flexing.
But that's 24 volts. So what we would do is generator would go into a distributor, and that would distribute power to different adapters, different things that you needed to power everything properly. And it was amazing the difference that made when all the pedals were getting everything that they needed directly from the source. Right? Anyone that's gone from a daisy chain setup to something that will deliver current the way the pedals want to hear them will be able to testify. So, we do things like, this has been around for a long time. This is the Supernova 9 to 12 volt, but we do 9 volts for, all the Strymon stuff, anything that's
Just high current stuff.
Exactly. And that'll do an amp, and the 12 volts will do an amp as well. So valve overdrive pedals, that's a really big deal for those as well. And then this is the V2 of the isolator, and someone asked us about this week. And so what I love about this thing, it's so cool. So that there is 4 isolated outputs. So you plug that, 9 volts in, whether that's from a generator or Gen X14 or any other supply that's got enough current. This will give you 4 more isolated outputs, especially for low current gain pedals. Because what we worked out was modulation, digital things, they have a lot of filtering going on in them anyway, to an extent. But gain pedals, compressors, the amount of noise that they are capable of generating is huge.
Insane.
And if the power that is feeding them isn't banging, it's just going to add.
Totally.
Right.
So, that was so pleased with that little thing. It's really, does a groovy thing. Then, was it last year we launched the Gen X14?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Could be last year, could be
Could've
5
been
years
5
ago.
years ago. Yeah, literally.
Or
I
just
love that
quickly,
thing.
show you this as well. Sorry, and now that's banging through the microphones and right. So this is a product that we actually have a patent on.
Oh.
One of my favorite,
Fancy.
one of my favorite products. Genuinely, I think it's so clever.
Whoa. So
Hello there.
this is the virtual battery.
Peyton. My guy. What?
Approved and everything.
Yeah, mate.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So this is the virtual battery. And because one of the things that we realized, I'd have these old fuzzers and things, and they sounded great. Then we'd plug power supplies in them and go,
This sounds weird.
Not quite it.
what? Not a million miles away, but there's
Just not
something,
quite right.
Not
something.
quite it.
And then we started looking at the way batteries deliver current, and it's super interesting. And the way alkaline battery delivers current is different than the way the carbon battery delivers current.
Ultra nerd territory.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're
Hello.
going in.
So what we did was we created these little isolation units that would not only isolate any power going in, but it recreates the way that batteries deliver current.
Yeah.
And so 2 versions. There's the virtual battery BC for anything that has a battery clip,
Battery clip.
and the DC.
DC
So-
connector.
The isolator uses the virtual battery technology. But if you've got a fuzz pedal and you love the sound of it, but you want to use like a plug-in power supply, these things really do make a difference.
They do.
Yeah,
They're
really
actually
pleased with them.
incredible.
But then, so it's our show, and we can talk about the stuff because it's our show. So there you go. So so I wanted to just quickly show you this. So this is like the culmination of 20 years of doing
Yeah, I
this
call
stuff,
it it's our greatest hits
right?
album.
The greatest,
isn't it?
This is our greatest hits album. So this is the Gen X14. And the most important thing for this isn't, I mean, it always blows me away just how light that is.
And
Yeah.
compact. It's so
Right?
compact.
It's so compact.
I fit
And-
it under the first rung of a pedal train,
Same.
right at the
Yeah.
front. Felt pedalboard taped underneath, and it clears it.
The amount of current available through this thing is amazing. So you
Phenomenal.
can use it. Comes with a 24-volt supply, and yeah, it just powers so much. It doesn't add a huge amount of weight, as we were saying before. It's tiny, but the big thing for me is this. In the bottom half of this board, you'll see in the box are all the cables it comes with, right?
He's so
Now-
Peter right now.
I got you.
Thank you, buddy.
No problem.
So the idea behind this, and we've done this from the start, because I remember seeing it when I was in Australia. I saw this this electrical thing where you could plug these cables in and press these buttons down. It would just connect.
Right.
And I'd always wanted to design a power supply that had that
The
in
whole
it.
chop block thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the big thing with this for me was that you'd plug this into your pedal, you'd run the cable back here, as long as you want, chop the cable off and plug it in, push it down and connect it. Now, these connectors are ABS plastic. They're really expensive. The unit is expensive, but I just wanted to say that if you get another power supply and you want to solder, sorry, who's calling me?
Oh, his mate Robin Ford is ringing him right now.
Sorry.
You
Friend.
texted him, didn't you? Robin, text me, ring me in a bit when I'm on air so everyone knows we're friends. Didn't you? Didn't you? Show me. Please don't fire me. I really need this job.
So the thing is that like doing a custom length DC cable to making everything neat, it's just so easy to do with this.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
locked in.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like, and there's a lot of great supplies out there. Really like the Walrus Audio one. I think that's really great.
that whole
That's
canvas
really
range
cool.
is killer.
And I had someone said, "Oh, why isn't there an AC input? Why you've got an external DC supply?" And there's a really good reason for that. So the biggest thing that will add noise on a board is the EMF, the electromagnetic stuff that is radiated through the transformer, and it can get picked up. That's when you plug the mains in, it's got to
Yeah, and
do all the
it's
stuff to turn into
literally
DC.
proximity. If you
That's
take
exactly.
one, you can.
It's the inverse square law of that.
Yeah.
Yes. So by having an external main supply, it means that you can put that on the board where it's going to have the least amount of impact.
Yeah.
You can put this where it makes the most sense, but also when you're in the studio recording, you can actually take it off the board and put it away. And that is what
Robin's texting him now, everybody. I've just seen that flash up.
Hello, we're friends. When we went to Neve and we were looking at all their amazing desks, all their power supplies are external.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
It
makes sense.
makes a
Makes sense.
big difference. So
Yeah.
there we go. So I hope that cleared some questions up. Do we get any questions in over power supply stuff, Lizzie?
Are they all bored to death?
Or did you fall asleep while we were talking about power supplies?
No,
No?
so riveting. Sorry. It is. Not specifically about
Okay.
power, but I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So we've got one from Paul. Do you still primarily use Mission for expression? Have all these pedals with expression out, so figured I should dive in.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I've found that the Mission pedals, they're just so rugged. They feel great underfoot. They're big. I like that. You know, if they did a smaller version, that would be cool. Do they do it? I'm assuming they
No,
don't
they
do a smaller
don't. They
version.
just
They do
do
only mini
their
ones.
one.
Yeah. But of all the expression pedals that I played, I just really like the feel of those. And then we approached Mission, and so they do a TheGigRig
Yeah.
version that, yeah.
I honestly think with expression pedals, because I would have said before using them that I wasn't fussy, and I feel like I went through everything until I found what I liked. So I would
What do you
genuinely.
use?
I'm using the Boss EV30
Yeah.
because I want the dual outputs, because I've got one side controlling a more or less,
Yeah.
and I've got the other side of it going into G3. But the Dodd mini ones are really cool as well.
Two
Yeah.
Dodd Me ones on my board
Right.
because I don't even know how, but they're the exact same size and angle as
As your
G3.
tiny feet.
As G3. Thank you. Cheers.
Yes, they're the exact same
Yeah.
size and angle.
Yeah.
I
so
also want to shout out the Dunlop mini one as
Yeah.
well.
The Dunlop, the MV4.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yep.
That
PVP4,
one,
that
the little
one.
guy.
But if
Yeah.
you do
That's wicked
have,
as well.
if you've got a G3 and you've got a load of effects pedals that have got expression pedal out, you need to check out the old Blood Noise M10,
Yeah,
which we stock because you
It's
can then make it.
astonishing.
You can make all of your old school pedals MIDI controllable.
Can you get out
I can get out.
and,
Bye.
and grab one?
See you later.
Jake, get out. Yeah, I want to show you this thing for any
So good.
expression pedal fans out there, because this this thing is wild. So the guys bought this and said, Dan, you got to see this, and had a look, and it says, right, let's call Old Blood Noise and order a bunch of them in.
Yeah.
This is called the Old Blood Noise MTET,
Ted.
right? Lizzie, I don't know.
Expression.
Obviously, you can't zoom in on this, but it's amazing. What this does, it receives a MIDI input, there's a MIDI through, and then you can plug 4 expression outs into normal pedals that take an expression pedal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using this with G3, for example, we can we plug an expression pedal into G3, out of the MIDI out into here, and then we can set the various expression levels in that per preset in G3.
Also, you can send a CC message and get it to be a steady value.
So you can just it's like changing pots.
Because I'm doing it with a more or less with an MTET. So you can set.
So good.
You can just send a value and it will set it to unity,
Right.
or you can use an expression pedal and use it as a volume pedal.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Old Blood Noise have knocked it out of the park
So
with this.
good.
It is so cool. I'm a big fan. I don't use any of their stuff, but I love the company.
Yeah.
They are so creative. The stuff they will try, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
we thought this is fun. Let's do this. I love that.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Well,
So
that is
yes,
so
the
incredible.
MTET.
Yeah,
We have
nailed
these in
that.
stock. Amazing thing. Yeah, there you go. That was a good expression pedal answer.
Well,
think.
hey.
Tom Poynton says, watch Mark Johnston's demo of the MTET.
Yeah.
An incredible tool.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
really like that dude's videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I borrowed your microcosm, I was like, how do I get my head around this? And I watched that Mark Johnston's microcosm video, and he
Yeah.
picks the
Incredible.
thing apart, and it's incredible.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Where was it? There's some more questions here, but there was one here that says, does it mean that putting a generator directly on my board is bad? Not at all.
Nope.
Not at all. I had one on my board for years. If you have a wah that's sat on it, or something that might induct some noise,
Mm-hmm.
then you can move it to where it doesn't create any problems.
That's the simple way to know if it's a problem, is use your ears.
Yeah.
You know, if you're getting a horrible interference, some sort of noise, try and move the generator away.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my generator literally budged up next to a earthquaker tentacle, like that. They're literally touching where I've got the way I've laid my board out, and I've got no noise issues with it.
Yeah.
Touch
I've
wood.
stacked pedals on top of a generator for for a
Yeah.
long time and never had an issue.
Yeah. So so it's very pedal specific.
Yeah.
But I had the same generator on my board for 15 years and no problems at all. But it's just the thing that the whole thing about having an external supply is that you can move it. It's much more difficult if you've got a unit that has a mains in, and there's some really great ones. But if you've got that at the back of your board, so you can get the IC cable in, much more difficult to move that if you're getting some noise from something.
Yeah,
totally.
So it's a really cool thing. I mean, it's all great, but anyone asking, well, why do people have external power supplies? That's the reason.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason. Beautiful. Howard, wow, I only got 4 minutes to go.
Oh,
This has flown by.
Yeah.
time flies when you...
How you
Talking
feeling
about pedals.
how you feeling about the new audio situation?
Yeah.
Crispy?
It's
Crispy
lovely.
clean.
You
Yeah,
like it?
having a great time.
Anyone
Brilliant.
fuming in the comments?
No,
No.
that's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
So my Gab
it,
Thorpe
guys.
says the Moog EP3 is also really good
Yeah.
underfoot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Industry standard.
yeah, really great.
They're really good value as well.
They are very good value.
So, I feel like they might be about 40 quid, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's wrong, if you've just gone onto a website and it's like, they're now 200, I'm really sorry. But when I bought one once, I feel like they were like 40 quid.
About 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the war.
We had another
Of
question
Yep.
from Zoot Alores, and he's asking, what are the characteristic changes of a pedal when changing input voltage from 9 to 18 volts? What should I expect?
Okay.
Headroom.
It is headroom, but it depends on the design of the pedal. If you've got a pedal where you plug the voltage in and it regulates the voltage, plugging a 9 or an 18 volt will make no difference because it's just taking that and regulating it.
Right.
It might mean that the pedal's more efficient running off 18 volts the way, but it will make no difference. However, the best example for me is the Analog Man Chorus.
Sure.
It'll do anything from 9 to 18. 9 volts is stellar. Up to 18 volts, still stellar. But different amounts of headroom, different amounts of sort of compression. And so it depends what you want, because I've found that, like for me, 15 volts of the bi-chorus is the
Interesting.
perfect thing. So I use a
El Paso.
an El Paso on my bi-chorus, and it's perfect.
Sure, man.
So, like pedals that can take 18 volts, by no means sound better at 18 volts, especially overdrive pedals. A lot of the times with overdrive pedals, I think, I'll plug in a higher voltage. You actually end up with more headroom, less limiting, less overdrive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly. It's the
You're,
mission
actually,
statement.
you're preventing it from sort of doing its job,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and if what you're after is just a really clean boost, great. But if you've got a Death by Audio punch me in the face till I'm dead thing,
Def Audio,
And-
please release a pedal called Punch Me in the Face Till I'm Dead. It will
TheGigRig
make
Death
our
by Audio
life.
collab.
Please email us at
Please.
support at TheGigRig. We need a collab with that. That needs to happen, please.
so
Punch Me in the Face Until I'm Dead.
if you,
Coming soon.
if you've got
GigRig times Def by Audio.
But if you do that and then you plug in a higher voltage, and it's like, it's not punching me in the face, and I'm not dying.
Yeah.
I'm only
I hate
maimed.
it when I'm not
I'm
dying.
only maimed. I'm not dead.
No, you're very right. It's
So
Coming summer 2025.
it's a okay. I've got it. I haven't told you guys this yet, but we're going to leave. We're going to end the show with this. First of all, thank you,
cliffhanger.
Cut.
thank you everyone for tuning in. It's great. I love these Wednesday
Yeah, this is-
afternoons.
man.
They're
This is
really
awesome.
fun. Finally got it sorted. Thank you, BV. Thank you, Lizzie. I'm going to leave you all with this, and I would love for you all to tell me what you think of this, but I've had an idea.
Oh,
So, as everyone who is around me will know, I have 100 ideas every day.
yep.
for
yes, you
stuff.
do.
And our big thing is like, which of Dan's insane things are we going to do now?
Yes, we do.
So I've got an idea. what I'm going to do for the next few products, we've got a few things in development now, but I've got a bunch of ideas. What I'm going to do, I'm going to Photoshop them up, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to create a little video for each one. And we're going to play those videos, and we're going to get you to vote for the product that we make next.
So we can make the Punch Me in the
Yeah,
Face
Punch
Till I'm
Me in the
Dead
Punch
a
Me in the Face Till I'm
reality.
Dead, a reality. But then you'll also get to see the process
That's
of
so
it.
cool.
That's,
that's great.
That's awesome.
Now, what's this in reference to? I'm a bit of a... I've just had a realization with this thing where there are so many... You've got a lot of amazing pedal companies now. And there's this thing around launch culture. So I'm a little bit... It's great, but there's a little bit... It makes you feel... I don't know. There's something,
I get what
something
you're
that doesn't sit really well
I get
with
what you're
me.
saying. I get what you're saying.
And
right?
yeah, some campaigns are almost a bit copy and paste. You can predict what
Yeah.
sort of the videos are coming out.
And
with
this
it,
is
so.
I'm not. This is no shade
No,
on
no,
anyone
no.
that's doing that, because some of the stuff that's coming out is amazing. But I think for gig riggers, we've got after 20 years of doing this stuff, and people know that we love this, and we've met some great friends, from everyone in this community. It's really wonderful. I want to bring people in on the journey,
Yeah,
of
that's really
this.
cool, Dan.
and then
That's cool.
And it's like, okay, we'll distill it down and let then you can watch the process. Okay,
Yeah, that's awesome.
people want this, and we'll do that. You like that,
I love that.
Yeah.
Lizzie?
Very exciting.
Very good, very good. Okay, well, let me know what you think. And if you're up for that, then we're going to
I'm so excited for the Punch Me Until I'm
Yeah,
Dead.
I can't tell you.
James
TGR.
Crawford says, do we have to buy shares in order to vote? No, but you will have to sign up to the newsletter,
Yeah. That's how.
right?
Yeah.
You will have to sign up to the
He's
newsletter.
got you there.
Can't have it for free. Please do it.
Brilliant.
The newsletter's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
Basically, you get to know when products happen,
Yeah.
like the day before, and pre-sale links and.
Oh,
that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, really cool.
Do it, please.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Yo, bye.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.